How to Stop Feeling Like You're Not Enough and Build Your Self-Worth. A fun and simple take on how to be enough by Hendriksen. Hey friends. Life can feel like a noisy radio stuck on repeat, blaring thoughts like, you could have done better, or why do you keep messing up? That nagging voice saying you're not enough is what we call your inner critic. We've talked about this voice before. It's the one that ignores your small wins and turns every little mistake into a massive drama, making you doubt yourself. Well, the book, How to Be Enough, by Hendriksen, was written just for people like us, those tired of self-criticism, perfectionism, and that not enough feeling, and ready to make peace with themselves. This isn't about pretending mistakes don't happen or being lazy. Nope. It's about learning to accept yourself, flaws and all, and living a freer, happier life. Hendriksen, a clinical psychologist from Boston University, knows her stuff. She's tackled social anxiety, perfectionism, and fear of judgment. And her work has popped up in big-name places like the New York Times, Washington Post, and Scientific American. Her approach? Super practical and grounded in real life, with a sprinkle of science. 1. How we see ourselves. The book opens with a cool idea. The way we see ourselves often doesn't match how others see us. Picture this. You stand in front of a mirror every day, zooming in on that tiny pimple, while everyone else sees your whole vibe, your smile, your energy, even the way you talk. That's where perfectionism sneaks in. Setting crazy standards like, I must always be the best, or I can't ever mess up, puts you on a treadmill with no finish line. Perfection? It's a moving target that doesn't even have a clear definition. Hendriksen explains this pressure comes from two places. Your past. Maybe your family pushed you with, try harder, or teachers only cared about straight A's. Or maybe our culture ties your worth to success. The comparison trap. Constantly measuring yourself against coworkers, friends, or Instagram stars. No wonder you feel not enough. Her big point? Your mind's like a cracked mirror. It magnifies flaws and hides your strengths. Recognizing this distortion is your first step to self-acceptance. She shares stories of people stuck in self-criticism loops, like someone who gets a promotion but thinks, now I have to work even harder to deserve it. Or someone who nails a project but obsesses over one tiny error. The real issue isn't lack of success. It's never letting yourself feel satisfied. 2. Perfectionism, the salad of struggles. Hendriksen uses a fun metaphor. Perfectionism is like a salad. Just like you've got Caesar, macaroni, perfectionism comes in different flavors, but they all leave you hungry for more. Here are the types. Inner perfectionism. The pressure's all from you. You tell yourself, I must be flawless, no mistakes. Even if no one criticizes, your inner voice keeps nagging. Outer perfectionism. You're terrified of what others think, like losing sleep before a speech, worrying a yawn means you're worthless, or tying your value to Instagram likes. The combo. You beat yourself up and fear others' opinions. A double whammy that's the heaviest burden of all. But here's the twist. Perfectionism isn't one size fits all. One person might be a perfectionist at work, but chill in relationships, while another obsesses over grades or looks, but not much else. The trick is figure out your style. Are you chasing others' approval or punishing yourself? Knowing this helps you find the right path to change. She talks about the mental magnifying glass. When you mess up, you zoom in and blow it out of proportion. Like a tiny stain on a white shirt, you think everyone notices. Spoiler, they don't. The goal? Understand your perfectionism pattern to start letting go. 3. Where does it come from? Let's dig into the roots. Hendriksen takes us back to childhood and our surroundings. Maybe you heard you're only valuable if you're perfect from parents who celebrated 100% grades but questioned a 95. Or grew up with constant comparisons, like, why can't you be like so-and-so? These messages sink deep, turning into a belief that you're only lovable when flawless. It's not always family, though. A tough school, a culture obsessed with success, or even a single moment, like being teased in class, can plant the seed. Perfectionism becomes a shield. Your brain thinks, if I'm perfect, no one can hurt me. But that shield gets heavy, suffocating you over time. Take someone who had to grow up early, like a kid managing family chaos. They learn not to fail or everything falls apart. That seed blooms into adult perfectionism. The good news is, since it's learned, it can be unlearned. Understanding its roots lets you treat yourself with kindness instead of blame. 4. Taming the inner critic. We all have that inner voice that never shuts up. You could have done better. You always mess up. Or even, you're wasting time resting. Hendriksen calls it the inner critic, a weird mix of protector and bully. It wants to shield you from shame or judgment, but piles on pressure like a coach who only yells, never praises. You can't silence it completely because it's part of your mind, but you can change your relationship with it. Don't buy every word, listen, then take charge. Try this. Imagine the critic as a separate character, like an old grumpy teacher or a pushy parent. See, it's not the whole truth, just an old habit. Here's a cool exercise. If a friend messed up and felt bad, you'd say, "No big deal, everyone does." But when you mess up, your critic roars, "You're a disaster." That gap shows how harsh you are on yourself. Hendriksen's fix? Balance the choir of your mind. Raise the voices of kindness, logic, and experience alongside the critic. It's not the boss anymore, just one voice in the mix. 5. Dealing with outside critics and beyond. Then there are real-life critics, family, co-workers, or random social media commenters. Hendriksen says a strong inner critic often grows from facing outside judgment. If someone constantly questions you, your mind keeps the critic going even when they're gone. But not all criticism is equal. Some comes from care, yet perfectionists see it as an attack. Others, they're just negative by nature, boosting themselves by pointing out flaws. Her advice? Spot these people and don't give their words too much power. Letting every comment shake your identity hands your life to others. She also tackles how perfectionists split people into better than me, to beat, or worse than me, for temporary peace. It's a trap. There's always someone ahead or behind, keeping you in an endless race. Instead, build real connections. Ask questions, ditch assumptions. You'll find people care less about you than you think. Finally, stop living for others' approval. Ditch labels like, "I'm a failure after a bad test," or "I bombed after a work flop." Hendriksen contrasts labels with values. Labels trap you. Values guide you. If learning's your value, a failed test becomes awesome, a chance to grow. If connection matters, a shaky speech is, "I'll get better at this." Write down 3 to 5 core values, not what you should value, to guide tough moments. Her basket metaphor is gold. Don't put all your worth in one basket. Work, looks. Diversify. Rediscover forgotten joys like music or nature. Balance those baskets and you'll feel enough as a multifaceted, resilient you. Wrap up. That's the gist of how to be enough. Hendriksen shows our reality is shaped by our minds. Spot the distortions, tame the critic, and live by your values. That's the path to feeling enough. What's one not enough thought you'll challenge today? Share below. Let's grow together.